All right, guys. Today I'm joined by Chris Raulf, founder and CEO of Boulder SEO Marketing, a 15-year-old SEO agency based in Colorado with a global footprint. Chris is the creator of the Micro SEO Strategies methodology, a lecturer at the University of Strasbourg, and an AI and SEO pioneer speaking at top industry events like DigiMarCon and SearchCon. His team has driven standout results from helping Geneva Worldwide appear in Google AI overviews to piloting Suerte Tequila's SEO launch and dominating local search rankings. Chris, welcome to the show.
Chris, thank you so much for having me. It's going to be easy for me to remember your name.
One of the best names in the world. Are you a Christopher or a Christian?
Christian.
I'm a Christopher. We can meet at Chris.
Sounds good. That's what I go by. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So jumping in right away, what would you say has been the key to scaling your agency?
There's many things, right? That as an agency owner, you wear so many hats. I think the key, one of the big things would be not freaking out when, things don't go your way. We just experienced a dip due to geopolitical events going on right now. Lost quite a bit of our revenue because the people don't know what's happening right now, so they're putting things on hold. So don't freak out when things don't go amazing, and don't get overly excited if things go amazingly well. I'm Swiss, neutral, even keeled. So I try to stay in the lane and just have slow and steady will win the race. I think that would be my answer.
Okay. And given, that you're navigating turbulent waters at the moment, what are you focused on or where do you want to take your agency this year?
Yeah, it's actually a really good question. One of the good things of this slowdown was that I had to rethink who we are, what we do, what do we want to be, where do we want to go. So I took a lot of time when I go on walks and I think about this stuff in depth. And so we started out as a local SEO company way back in the day. And I thought I always would be a local SEO company. But then the first client was in Israel, right? And then we landed national clients and eventually local clients. And then we try to grow we're going to do basically everything for everybody. It's not a good idea, right? So I learned to swim in the lane, and now we are probably one of Colorado's top SEO agencies. So we really went back to the drawing board and we said, hey, Colorado is such a tech-driven state. There's so much business here in the Boulder area, Denver area. So we're opening satellite offices now, the Denver metro area, Fort Collins, etc. And that has been one of the best decisions that I've made in a long time. So we're not just a local SEO company, but we are a locally oriented agency that works with businesses, small, medium-sized, also larger businesses, primarily in Colorado because we do so well with our search rankings in Colorado. But then because of my speaking engagements, we also get a lot of clients from all over the US as well as internationally. So I would say we focus to who we really are, but we're not going to neglect clients from out of state or internationally because we can serve them really well. Yeah.
Got it. I was going to say, because you mentioned opening additional satellite offices. In my head, I was thinking, are you guys like running the business in person or is your team located remotely throughout the globe?
Yeah. So after COVID, I didn't see a need anymore to pay $3, $4, $5,000 for a physical location. We would only meet 2 or 3 times at the office anyhow. So we went remote. Most of our people are here in the Denver and Boulder area. So we once a week, we get a meeting room. I'm just outside Boulder, Colorado. So in between Boulder and Denver. And we get together, we have our big meeting where we get everybody online. So we get team members in the Philippines, basically all over the world. And this is working really well. I'm a big fan of working remote. Some people, they like to meet in person. So we're finding a good mix of what is working for everybody. And I really enjoy what is happening to my company right now, the way we're running our meetings.
Got it. That's good. Interesting insight on the hybrid model, navigating that. So in terms of like the targets for the next, I don't know, 2, 3 years in hitting your goals, how much of that do you feel like depends on you as the rainmaker versus you and or your team?
So obviously I'm the head, I'm the captain of this ship, right? Luckily, I have a really good business partner who runs operations. I'm the face, I'm the strategic thinker, I'm the chief visionary. So I've been doing SEO before Google was called Google. They were called Backrub back then. So I really get it, right? So everything makes sense to me when they unleash a new AI model or core algorithm updates. I just get it, right? If you do a search for international SEO expert, you'll find my personal website at the very top in Google, simply because I've been doing this forever and I get rewarded by Google for having done this forever. So I speak globally about this stuff. So that being said, I do have in-depth knowledge that very few people have in this industry. So a lot of the success of this company depends on me. It's a good and a bad thing. Obviously, I love what I do and I'm able to think about things and then I see things, what's going to happen. And then I'm able to take that to my team, usually Daniel. Hey, here, let's make sure we implement this over the next 6 months. And then it's a trickle down effect where we get everybody involved and then everybody does their part to implement what my vision is. So it starts with me and then it goes down a few levels and then the team implements everything. So that seems to be working really well. Eventually, obviously, I'd like to take a step back. I still absolutely love what I do. I get up every morning excited to work and think about things and implement new things. So at some point, I will probably have to hire somebody like me. But right now, this is the way I like to run this company. And it's an absolute blast. We have an incredible team that is able to achieve incredible results for our clients. Ultimately, that matters. Yeah, most.
Got it. Yeah. I can hear the passion that you have in your voice around it. So that's really cool. And are you primarily responsible for the client acquisition or is that your partner?
Yeah, very good question. So I would say I probably do 85% of all the selling. And then when I meet Daniel in the call, I'll just get him into the call. And then he talks about operations, what clients can expect if they work with us. So I do probably 85% of the selling. And to me, I don't sell, I educate. As you mentioned in the intro, I teach part of a master's degree for the University of Strasbourg in France, an online degree. So I don't sell, and I tell people that we're not a good fit for every company out there, but we're a good fit for many companies out there. Let's just have a conversation. If it's a good fit, let's try to work together. Yes, I would say I'm probably the sales guy at the company, the educator.
The educator. Yeah. Got it. And you mentioned something, Chris, that I think so many people maybe that don't have the knowledge that you have, the way they think about the algorithms, it's like a black box that nobody knows and understands. And when you mentioned that you would understand the algorithm, my ears perked up a little bit. Can you talk on that at all? Do you have any insight that you think would
Yep.
be helpful for others?
Yeah. So A lot of people are trying to game the system. They think they can outsmart Google and now these generative AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, etc. The most important thing is high quality content like that specifically addresses buyer personas, buyer persona profiles that deal with certain issues. So as long as you can make that connection with the content that you're putting up on your website, human generated content, assisted with AI tools, that is the most important thing, right? Yes, the algorithm has evolved dramatically since I got into this game at the very beginning in 1995, 96, where the one ranking signals was backlinks, okay? Everything has changed, and I couldn't be happier about these changes, especially now with the emergence of AI. When ChatGPT launched in November of 2022, it was a game changer. Google had to completely update its algorithm very rapidly because all of a sudden there were millions of pieces of content put it up on the internet, on websites that were AI generated. It costs Google a ton of money to index that low quality spawn content in their server farms. They don't want to pay for that low quality content to be indexed, right? So they had to quickly improve their algorithm to really be able to surface high quality content, because that's the only way they're going to make money with their search engine, through search, right? So even more now than before, it's all about content. So we're actually transitioning from being an SEO agency to a content marketing agency that happens to be really good at SEO and that uses AI greatly as part of the process. We created an AI agent that does a lot of the research using AI, but at the end of the day, the content is still being created by human beings using guidance from our AI agent. Yeah, I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I got it. I'm curious, what form of content? Is it primarily written word or is it video, written word, audio, all the above?
I would say it's probably 80% content written, standard web pages, but then video, increasingly important, infographics, whatever media you can think about that makes sense in relation to the search terms that person is typing into Google. You got to figure out what is showing up already in these search engines. What are they going to expect to see? That's how you have to develop a SEO or content marketing strategy that will resonate with the person on the other end that is looking for specific information.
Got it. That makes sense. So it's like just written word isn't enough anymore. You have to be on other forms of content.
Oh, yeah. So specifically video, critically important. We do a lot of podcasts. I do a weekly Friday SEO tip. We try to implement that for our clients. It's so easy to do, right? We're using the same podcasting software. Then it's so easy to turn a piece of content into like an audio version, right? Notebook LM, it's another AI tool that will easily convert any kind of written piece of content into a audio piece of content. Now with video, like VO3, Google's new video creation tool, it gets easier and easier to create multimedia that will resonate with the person on the other end looking for specific information. Yeah.
Got it. I'm like taking some mental notes on some of the tools that you shared there. And I guess you mentioned that you're teaching at a university. What you're teaching at the university and what you're applying in business, like how are they similar or different?
It's the same stuff. So I'm teaching basically the Micro SEO strategies methodology so that my students can create a search engine optimized piece of content that's going to rank at the top in Google. It's very straightforward. So that I teach them how to do that. I teach them basically most of the methodology that we develop. So this is not rocket science, to be honest. It's just like it's a multi-step process. And you need to understand the dependencies. You need to understand how to use AI tools So this is what my students learn in the part of the course that I'm teaching. And it works so well for if anybody listening out there, just do a quick search for SEO price guide. We used our methodology to create this price guide because a lot of people don't know how much SEO costs, right? So we know exactly how many people are searching for this keyword. We used our methodology to create this price guide. It ranks not only at the very top in Google, but it's now also in the AI overviews, the new AI generated stuff that Google shows at the very top in their search engine. So, yep, that's what I'm teaching my students. And I think it's very useful knowledge that they can put to work right away.
Couple questions. Immediately, I'm like, "Ooh, how do we get into that AI suggested section of Google?" And then I'm curious as well, how many of your students are then turning around and becoming marketing agencies or following your footsteps?
So it's a program mostly for technical communication professionals. A lot of them are in localization, translation, technical communication, technical writing, etc. There have been a few that I think started their own agency. They benefit greatly from that knowledge, right? But as long as you create content in some form or shape, what I'm teaching is very applicable because you want to make sure that your content is being seen, discovered through organic search, right? Think about help systems on a website. You can greatly reduce call volume, people calling in if they have a problem with their printer, right? If that content is easily available online, discoverable through Google search or another Gen AI tool, that's going to reduce somebody calling in and having spent time with a support person. That costs a lot of money. So as long as you're creating content that serves a purpose that should be discovered, what I'm teaching is very applicable. And in fact, for any website owner, if you have a website, you might as well make sure that people find your content through organic search, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
What would you say, Chris, has been the biggest challenge in taking all the knowledge and experience that you have in your head, compiled over the years, and to get over into your team members so that they can help you serve your clients?
So there's a thing called alt mode network. It's like this thing that always hovers over your head. I had to learn that it's just impossible for me to implement everything that I want to do. I really was hard for me I struggle with this because I have so many ideas, so many things that I want to do. And I really work 10, 12 hours sometimes, including weekends. It's not healthy. So really had to come to my senses and say, look, I can only do so much and that's okay. So now I try to do 3 things that will grow my business on a daily basis. And I try to work on one strategic thing that hopefully will get me results in 6 to 12 months. And that's okay. That I have to be okay with that. It's just like I have so many things going on in my head. And A, I'm going to drive myself crazy. And B, I'm going to drive my team crazy. It's just like you have to set expectations so that you are not going crazy and you're not going to drive your team crazy. So I think I finally came to my senses and I'm okay with that.
So, three things. As long as you're
Yeah.
focusing on one of those three things each day, you're good. You're moving in
Yep.
the right direction.
I try to do 3 things. That can be 2 sales calls and put something up on my LinkedIn that could lead to somebody reaching out to me. And then strategically, there are sections on the website that I want to redo, work with the team on trying to get those sections redone by XYZ. That is doable. It's not overwhelming. So far, so good. Yeah. So it seems to be working well.
Got it. And one last question here before we start to wrap up. I think so many agency owners, they're balancing client fulfillment and servicing their clients and keeping them happy, and then also growing the business. How have you been able to do those both things? What has been the key for you?
Yeah. So I hate to say it, but when we started this company about 5 years ago after I took a break, remarried, all of a sudden there were like 5 kids in the house that had to be driven to school. They had to be fed. My wife had long days in Denver as a respiratory specialist. So I put my business on hold for a while. I became the housewife. Very hard job. I was just doing lead generation to the website and basically teamed up with other agencies. So I got a commission. So I worked 2 hours a day and then took care of the kids. So then I restarted the business and we grew so fast. I teamed up with Daniel. We grew way too fast and quality suffered, which was terrible. As a Swiss, we're all about quality. We're known for high quality. That was terrible. We made some mistakes. I feel horrible about it. So really, I had to find a good balance in terms of less is more. We don't have to make a killing every month. So that had to be balanced, where we also need to work on our own website. We can't just take on so many clients that we completely neglect what we're doing with our own business. Great question. We did struggle with this at the beginning, probably the first 2 years, until we had found that nice mix. And now it's a very nice flow where we pay close attention to that balance. That's critically important. If you want to succeed with your agency, it has to be a very good balance. So yeah, great question.
Awesome. If you had to give one piece of advice to any agency in the future that wants to have a level of success that you're having, that you've had and are having, what would that one piece of advice be?
Probably goes back way back to the very beginning, the day I started this business. I just jumped in. I read my horoscope and it said, if you don't make a change today, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Took a shower, thought about it. I'm going to do this. Put my towel around my waist and wrote my letter of resignation. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I had money, I think, for 6 weeks. But I figured, if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do this? I had just bought a house, just got divorced. It was probably the best time in terms of having the most pressure. I excel under pressure. So I'm like, screw it, I'm going to do this. If I fail, so be it, but I'm all in. So if you want to do this, you know what, throw yourself into this. It'd be nice if you have a little bit more money, more than 6 weeks. For me, luckily it worked out, right? But you got to be all in. If you're not all in, it's like a half-baked solution and it's not really going to work. So that is probably the best piece of advice that I can throw out there for new agency owners. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Where can people find you, or where can people learn more about what you're working on or potentially hiring you?
Just visit us at Boulder SEO Marketing.com, also chrisraulf.com. If you Google my name, Chris Raulf, you're going to find a lot of information. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. But yeah, don't want to make this a sales pitch, but I'm very passionate about SEO, AI, and digital marketing. So feel free to look me up and connect.
People can educate themselves, and if they want to become a client, then of course you're open
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. We're open for business.
Awesome. Awesome. Chris, thanks so much. Thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
You're welcome.